I think kindness dies last, even when people like you bury it.
I never meant to bury it. I just couldn't afford to believe in it anymore.
She served coffee to strangers, never knowing one of them ran a European crime syndicate. When he returned every night just to hear her voice, the staff whispered, "Why her?" But when a racist cop humiliated her in front of him, the cafe lights flickered and he spoke in perfect English asterisk. Asterisk, no one disrespects my wife. Asterisk, the room froze. Her world shattered and began in the same heartbeat. Rain whispered against the glass as Danielle wiped the same countertop for the 5th time. The cafe was nearly empty. Shadows stretched long and thin across the floor. Then he walked in. The foreign man who always ordered in broken English, eyes colder than the coins he left behind. Tonight, though, something in his silence felt heavier, like a storm rehearsing its rage. He sat in the corner booth, coat draped over his shoulders, rain dripping from his gloves. His accent, Italian, maybe Russian, curled around her name when he said it. Danielle. The way he spoke it made her freeze. He'd never said her name before. "Sit," he whispered. "Please." The air thinned. She shouldn't. But something in his tone, not command, not request, sounded like confession. She sat. The hum of the espresso machine drowned beneath his voice. "Do you believe people are born good?" he asked. His eyes flicked to the window, where police lights flashed blue on wet glass. "Or do we learn goodness when we've already lost it?" She didn't know how to answer. All she knew was a scar running down his hand looked like it came from something sharp or someone cruel. When the door slammed open, the cafe's warmth cracked. 2 police officers walked in, one smirking, one chewing gum. "Evening," the taller one said, eyeing her. "Manager around?" His tone wasn't polite. It was possession. "We got a report, suspicious male, foreign accent, hanging around." His gaze dropped to her skin. "And you, sweetheart, you sure you're not part of it?" She stiffened. "I work here." Her voice trembled, but her dignity didn't. The shorter cop chuckled. "Don't sound too sure, sweetheart. You people can be real convincing." The foreigner stood then, slowly, his shadow swallowing the light. "Apologize," he said, his accent suddenly sharper, clearer. The taller cop laughed. "And you are—" He reached inside his coat. Every muscle in the cafe tightened. Danielle's breath caught, but instead of a weapon, he pulled out a black envelope and set it on the counter. The cop opened it. Inside, a badge, but not police. Federal? No. Older. Stranger. Interpol. The man said softly. "And this place is under my protection." The officers exchanged looks. The taller one smirk faltered. You with them?" "Asterisk them? Asterisk." His voice dropped an octave. "Choose your words carefully." The taller one tried to stand taller, but his face betrayed fear. "Just doing our job." "Your job," the foreigner said, stepping closer, "is to protect, not to humiliate." The silence that followed felt like a verdict. Then, almost gently, he said, "Leave." They did. No argument. Just a soft squeal of the door and the sound of rain swallowing their retreat. Danielle stared at him, heart hammering. "Who are you?" she whispered. He turned toward her, and for the first time there was no accent. "Someone who's tired of watching cruelty wear a badge." She stepped back. His English, perfect, clean, American even. "You've been pretending," she said. He nodded once. Sometimes truth hides better than a lie. She should have felt betrayed. Instead, she felt seen. For years, she'd served smiles to people who saw only her color, not her kindness. But this man, whoever he was, looked at her like she was the only one in the room who still believed in decency. "Why me?" she whispered. His eyes softened. Because when I ordered coffee, you looked at me like I wasn't dangerous. Her throat tightened. And are you? She asked. He smiled, sad, small, unholy. Depends on who you ask. Outside, thunder cracked, shaking the glass. He leaned closer, his voice low. If I told you I'd done terrible things for a better world, would you believe me? She hesitated. No one starts out terrible. He looked at her as if that sentence wounded him. That's where you're wrong, he murmured. Sometimes the world makes you choose between justice and innocence. I lost mine years ago. He slipped a card onto the counter. No name, just a number embossed in gold. If they ever come for you again, he said, call me. Then he walked out into the rain, coat fluttering like a flag of a country that didn't exist. Danielle stood frozen, the card trembling in her hand. For the first time, she wasn't sure which frightened her more, the racism she knew too well or the protection she never asked for. The night bled crimson outside the shattered cafe windows. Sirens wailed somewhere far, but inside, everything was silent, too silent. Danielle stood trembling, her apron streaked with blood and rain, watching him reload the gun with calm precision. You said you were Interpol, she whispered. His eyes lifted, cold silver, unreadable. I said many things. The smell of gunpowder mixed with burnt coffee. 2 men in suits lay on the floor, one breathing, one not. They came for you, he said. Not for me. She shook her head, voice breaking. Why would anyone come for me? He turned toward her slowly, like a confession dragging its feet. Because of me. Because you saw me. Because you're the only one who made me remember what mercy felt like. She stared at him. The foreigner, the stranger, the man who had protected her. And for the first time, she saw fear behind his control. Who are you really? She asked again. He hesitated. Then softly, my real name is Adrian Vassari. My family doesn't serve law. We own it. The words landed like bullets. She took a step back. Your mafia. His silence was answer enough. Rain roared outside as police lights flickered through the glass. You used me, she said, voice trembling between anger and disbelief. You made me think you cared. He stepped closer. I did care. That's the problem. His accent was gone now, flawless American. You think I chose you to blend in? I chose you because in a city that looks right through you, you still saw me. The sirens grew louder. He moved fast, pulling her toward the back door. They won't ask if you're innocent, he said. They'll see your skin, and that'll be enough. His voice cracked, not from fear for himself, but for her. She jerked free. You don't get to use my pain as your redemption. For a moment, he stopped breathing. You think this was redemption? His hand shook as he raised a gun. This was punishment. The back door burst open. Armed men flooded in, not cops, not feds, just shadows in suits. She realized then, the police sirens weren't coming for him. They were running from him. Adrian dropped the gun and raised his hands. The tallest man in black stepped forward. His father. You've gone soft, the older man said in Italian. Falling for her? Adrian's eyes didn't move from Danielle. She reminded me what love looks like before it gets corrupted. The older man smiled thinly. Then let me correct that mistake. He pointed the gun at her. Adrian moved before he thought. One step, one shot, one silence too heavy for the rain to wash away. When she opened her eyes, the old man was on the floor. Adrian's hands were red. Now you see what love costs, he whispered. Police finally arrived. Too late, as always. Adrian dropped the gun, his body trembling. Tell them I took you hostage, he said. Tell them you survived a monster. Her eyes filled. Why? Because if they know you care for me, they'll destroy you too. He smiled faintly, that same sad smile she'd seen on his first day. Some colors the world just doesn't forgive. They dragged him away in handcuffs, blood still dripping from his cuffs like guilt made visible. As he passed her, he whispered something in Italian, soft, broken. Later, she'd learn it meant, asterisk, forgive the world before it kills you too. Asterisk, when the news aired, the headline read, asterisk, foreign crime lord captured in Charlotte Café. Asterisk, they never mentioned her name. They never said she saved him. And as she stood watching the sunrise the next morning, the air still smelled of smoke and betrayal. Proof that in America, even love can be arrested for the color it touches. The night bled into morning like guilt, refusing to fade. The city was quiet now. Too quiet, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Smoke curled from the ruins of the cafe, once a place of laughter and small mercies. Now it smelled of endings. Danielle stood alone in the rain, coat clinging to her skin, the echo of sirens fading like a song that didn't belong to her anymore. Across the street, they dragged his body out, covered, nameless, yet heavier than any truth she'd ever carried. Adrian Vassari, the man who loved her in secret and lied to her in daylight, now nothing more than a story whispered between uniforms that never cared who bled first. She wanted to run to him, but a line of yellow tape held her back, bright and cruel, like the lines the world drew between color and worth. Reporters shouted questions that didn't deserve answers. One of them asked if she'd known who he really was. She almost laughed. No one ever asks a black woman who she really is, just who she belongs to. Rain washed blood into the gutter, red turning to rust. She could almost hear him still, his accent slipping through the storm, whispering things the world never let him say aloud. Some colors the world doesn't forgive. She thought he meant skin. Now she knew he meant love. The agents told her she was free to go, but freedom felt heavier than chains. She walked home past boarded windows and neon lights, her reflection fractured in puddles, her name trending on screens for all the wrong reasons. The headlines would call her the waitress, the accomplice, the survivor. Never Danielle, never human. When she reached her apartment, the air felt too still. On the table, a small black envelope waited, sealed in red wax, his mark. Inside was a single photograph. Her, behind the counter, smiling at him the first day he came in. On the back, a single sentence in Italian. You taught me what America forgot. Her tears blurred the ink, but the words cut clean. The city outside roared back to life, hungry for the next tragedy to film. She turned off the lights, let darkness wrap around her like truth, and whispered to no one that love had not died. It had only changed shape. If the world fears love dressed in the wrong color, maybe it's time love stopped asking for permission to exist.